Hey everybody, it's Janine here from the Wealth Building Academy, and today I wanted to talk to you about financial fraud. Over half of Canadians have experienced financial fraud at some point in their life. This can be everything from a CRA scam to a COVID CERB scam to things like your credit card being compromised, or even in our household situation, your cell phone actually being compromised. So I wanted to share with you a little bit of a story. About a year ago, my husband's phone number actually got ported over to a new phone without us knowing, and so he had no access to his phone, but scammers actually do this so that they can leverage two-factor authentication and can log into your bank account with that information. Now, this was an incredibly stressful period of time for us, trying to get Rogers to port back the number and prove that we didn't actually request it. And you don't actually need a lot of information to be able to do this. All they needed was my husband's name, address, and phone number to be able to port that number over and start to use it. So we actually had to freeze all of our bank accounts to make sure that nobody could pull money out or use our credit card to be able to do that. So that was definitely a stressful situation as well. And also a reason why I think it's so important for each individual to have a credit card in their name. So in this situation, we were able to leverage the credit card in my name that was not joint, as well as I had a work credit card that I was able to use as I was traveling at that time, and needed to be able to get home without using any of our joint financial assets. Because over half of Canadians fall victim to financial fraud or financial scams, I think it's important to be patient and kind with ourselves when we fall into these situations. These scam artists are pretty good, and in a lot of situations, you won't actually know that it's happening to you. I think I read a news article when this was all happening to us, and there was a woman who ended up losing $30,000 because the scammers ported her cell phone number and were able to access her bank accounts and pull money out of there. So it can be a very stressful and trying time on people when that happens, and I think it's so important to make sure that we're talking about this. If you do get a phone call that seems suspicious, or you really have no reason to be actually receiving this call, or even if you do have reason to be receiving this call, it's important that you always call back that financial institution or the CRA and ask for their agent ID if they are a CRA agent. So always make sure you're calling that number on the back of your card. And while it may feel silly, it is protecting you from the potential of someone hacking your information. The last thing I'll say when we're dealing with financial fraud is to make sure that you are checking your credit report frequently to make sure that you can see whether or not someone is opening any bank accounts in your name, especially after you've been victim to a financial fraud. You want to make sure that you're checking and monitoring that credit score on a regular basis. Borrowwell does a fantastic job of actually updating your credit score on a weekly basis, and you can see your credit report on a monthly basis, so you can see if any accounts don't line up. So I definitely recommend that free service to be able to monitor your credit score, and I will leave a link in the description below. If you have any questions about financial fraud, or you've been victim to financial fraud, please feel free to share if you feel comfortable, or leave your question in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next week.